coming up next on Rockin Real Estate Tips from the Rocket.
Hello, everybody. This is Sensational Stacey Corrigan, the Rocket from Woonsocket, super proud badass broker and founder of Peace of Mind Property Management and Real Estate Inc. And we sell real estate right here in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. And today we're going to talk about how to win in a multiple offer situation. That is a hot button right now. And so many people are ending up in multiple offer situations. And I know many clients are having trouble getting their offers accepted. So at Peace of Mind, we have 7 tips to share with you today. And then I have 4 more secret strategies. So stay tuned and welcome to Rockin Real Estate Tips from the Rocket.
One thing is for certain. Your home is likely the largest financial asset you'll own. And the big question is this: who can you turn to expertly guide you with the right strategies, next best steps, and the exact how-to? How to get started with the home buying process, how to get the best rate and terms for a loan, how to negotiate the best offer for the purchase of your largest financial asset and propel your equity so you can stay on course for you and your family's dreams. That is the question, and this video series will give you the answers. My name is Stacey Corrigan, and welcome to Rockin Real Estate Tips with the Rocket.
All right, so we have an action-packed episode today. We've got 7 things to cover, so hopefully we can go through them quickly. All right, but we want you to have all the right information, so we're going to get started with number 1. Number 1 is to get pre-approved, not just pre-qualified. Obviously, getting pre-qualified is very important. The difference is that getting fully pre-approved means that all your paperwork has made it through underwriting and passed muster. So now you can close quicker, you can close more solidly, you have half of the process already taken care of. Then it's just about finding the property you want and getting re-verified. So I have several clients who have done this, and it really has helped them step up over the competition to stand out. And definitely we make sure that this gets known. All right, to the other side when we're making the offer. The seller has much less concern over offers that are pre-approved, especially with an agent on the other side who knows what they're doing and knows the value of that, okay? Number 2, you want to explore different types of financing. So when I start working with a new buyer client, I strongly encourage them to get a pre-approved multiple ways. So not just VA or FHA, you want to see if you can't possibly also get approved for conventional financing, okay? That is important because VA and FHA, if you remember from another episode about the mortgage types, require stricter condition requirements. So you could be a little handy and you don't mind if the flooring needs to be replaced because you want to do your own flooring install, and then you can save some money on a professional and improve the property. If your flooring is not good, you're not going to get an FHA or VA loan. And so that could limit the number of properties that you look at. It also could limit an opportunity for you because let's say you want to buy grandma's house, and grandma's house could be cheaper because it's not updated. But if it's not updated, that might not be a problem if everything is in good condition. But what if it's not updated and there's chipping and peeling paint, or there's broken concrete, or there aren't handrails everywhere, or if the roof needs to be done, or the heating system needs to be done? Things like that will inhibit an FHA or VA loan, but will not inhibit a conventional loan. So the tolerance level for those types of projects and repairs is different for each person. And if you need a turnkey home, understandable, no problem there. However, just think about putting yourself in a more competitive position. You could go for a conventional financing and get a property that is not as turnkey and then make it your own. It's always cheaper to do your own renovation than to pay for somebody else's, right? Okay, number 3, this is a big one, is have fewer contingencies. And there's a lot of these contingencies that are up for debate about eliminating them. So one of them is inspections. If you waive your inspection contingency, you could have some issues later. So you don't want to end up with closing and then a week later the boiler fails or the hot water tank goes bad or something that's going to be a big expense. Also, as a reputable broker, I like when my clients do inspections because now they know about the property. Even if we don't negotiate on them, it protects everybody legally. It protects the buyer, the seller, and the agents and the brokerages to know what was known about the property before purchasing it. So I never discourage inspections, and it could factor into a seller's decision, and a lot of people are choosing to do inspections but then not negotiate on them. So that is up to you and your comfort level, but just know if you're not able to waive them or do them for your knowledge only, your offer might not get accepted in today's market environment. Okay. Other contingencies that you can waive, you can't waive your mortgage contingency, obviously, unless you find somebody willing to give you cash, or if you have cash, that's awesome. But is the appraisal contingency. Now that's a hot button right now because let's say you are putting 10 or 20% down, significant amount down. The lender has a say in if waiving that appraisal contingency is okay for them. So you really need to check with the lenders to make sure that if you're waiving the appraisal contingency, that you're not putting your client in a pickle where they might have to come up with that difference. All right. Not always does their down payment cover that gap. Okay. So just be careful, consult a professional like us and get expert advice on, is waiving an appraisal contingency okay for you? Or is it fraught with some other potential problems that could get you stuck? Okay, we don't want you losing your deposit, and we want to make sure that you can make it to closing, right? Okay, so not everybody, this is number 4, working with the sellers is the tip. Not everybody wants a fast close, and the highest offer is not always the best offer. So what working with the sellers means is the thing that they could need is time to find their next place. And so if you can offer any type of flexibility, which is not easy to do if you are selling your place and you need to sell to buy. However, if you do need to sell to buy, you could sell and then stay in temporary housing, either a hotel or Airbnb for a few weeks to a month or whatever suits your family and your situation, in order to give those sellers that extra time that they need for the property you want to buy. Okay, so that's just some strategy there. Another thing could be maybe the sellers need a lease back period after closing. So if you can buy, but you don't have to move in right away, give them a little cushion. One situation we just did is we did a lease back on both ends. So my client got to stay in her house an extra half a day. Doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're moving, it's a lot of time. And then she got to go into her house a half a day early. So that allowed her to move and not be under the gun with the buyer's moving truck right behind them coming in the door. Okay. So sometimes doing a lease back, it could be a week, it could be a month. Usually if it's more than a day or two, then the person who's benefiting is offering some sort of compensation in exchange for that, but not always. So it just depends on how good your agent negotiates on your behalf. So my client got both sides for no extra money that day, and that was just so huge for her. Okay, so where was I? Number 5, make a large deposit. So that is usually your second deposit. The first deposit is earnest money deposit. We've talked about that on a prior video. We usually put $1,000 as the first earnest money deposit. Then the second deposit is the chunkier one. The second one comes after inspection. So typically 2 weeks later. And that one is the one that really means, okay, I'm in this deal and I'm committed. We really do not like deposits that are only $500 or $1,000. There is sometimes FHA 100% financing people, and VA is 100% financing, or USDA loans. The people don't have the money to do a higher deposit. And unfortunately, even if they don't need to put that much money down, we like to make sure that they are invested in this transaction and have something serious to lose. So, if you're willing to offer a higher deposit, that speaks volumes to the seller that you are committed to the transaction. You could end up using that deposit towards your closing costs, or if your closing costs are getting covered, you can get that deposit back at the end. So there's a lot of ways to work that out, but the stronger your deposit, the better. So I've seen as high as 5% on deposits. So keep that as your benchmark. 1 to 5% is typical, and the seller gets to request pretty much what they want if they're in a multiple situation. And then it's just up to you if you're comfortable with that. And how long have you been looking, and how hard has it been for you to find a house? So, but be careful, because that deposit can be at risk. So make sure that you're being professionally guided, and that you know what your risks are and what the consequences are for when you could possibly lose your deposit. We did another episode on that before. All right, so number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one might sound like the same one, but make a large down payment. So the difference between deposit and down payment is your deposit is going to be held by the other escrow office, usually the listing office. It could be the seller's attorney or the buyer's attorney. There's lots of ways deposits can be held. We talk about that in another episode also. However, the down payment is the total amount of funds that you're bringing towards the transaction. So your deposit is only a portion of those funds, possibly. So if you put $10,000 down on a purchase, but you're actually putting 20% down on the whole transaction, and let's say you're purchasing a $500,000 house, your total down payment is $100,000, but your total deposit would only be $10,000. It probably would be more in that situation, but you hear what I'm saying, okay? So if that means you're doing a higher percentage, if you're just doing the bare minimum, some FHA loans can let you have 0 down payment, like we said, or you could have like a 1.87% down payment. And sometimes your deposit could exceed your down payment, which is rare, but it happens. And then those funds are going towards closing costs, are coming back to the buyer at closing. And so the larger your down payment, the more invested the people feel, and the more secure they feel about your financing, that there's less risk for the bank, which means an easier approval. Last but not least, by any means, number 7, make a strong offer. And what that means is no lowballing, okay? Your agent will guide you and let you know. So what we do is we analyze, well, how are the homes selling in the area for sales price to list price ratio. So as a percentage over the list price. It's not always the days where you're going back and forth bargaining right now, okay? And trying to get an offer accepted that's lower than the list price. There are still some houses selling for lower. Just have your agent guide you to know, is this a house that could go that way? I am going under contract today with a client who did get his offer accepted lower than the list price because the agent priced it a little too high. And that's going to happen sometimes. Either you have an inexperienced agent, or they were trying to capture the top of the market and build in a little bit of an increase, and the market shifted and pushed back and said no. So, but having an experienced seasoned agent is really the way to go, who expertly knows pricing in that area. Okay. Those are your 7 things to help give you a leg up on getting your offer accepted in multiple offer scenarios. We do still have 4 secret strategies that I did not share today, that we reserve the right to give our clients an unfair advantage in our negotiating. So if you're curious about how what those might be, then please click the link below to schedule a 15-minute strategy session with me. I look forward to hearing from you. And remember, choose peace, give love, and find your home with peace of mind.
Hey, it's Stacy, and I have a cool gift for you. I've taken some of my best tips and created an ultimate buyer's guide for you. It's pretty thorough, and it takes you from considering buying a house to closing on your new home. and I want to give it to you for free, just as a thank you for listening to the show. No fluff, no gimmicks, just pure actionable ideas for you to use instantly. You can grab it right now at pompmre.com/buying, BUYING. Should be right there on the screen to help you out. And do you know anyone who could benefit from this episode? If so, please share it with them. No pressure. We just want to help as many people as we can. Also, if you found something interesting in this episode, send me a quick message and let me know what was good, what was helpful, or hey, I'm going to do that. Just shoot me a quick message and let me know what resonated with you. That way I can continue helping you propel your equity to new heights for the benefit of you and your family. We appreciate you, and I hope you make it a great day.